us into prisoners. The world we live in it, them turn us into prisoners. Don't want to lose my faith on here, prisoners.
In John chapter 8, Jesus addresses the issue of freedom, true freedom. Reading from verse 31, to the Jews who had believed him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." They would go on to say to Jesus in verse 33 that we are Abraham's descendants and we have never been slaves of anyone. Yet how can you say you will set us free? How can you say that we will be set free when we were never slaves of anyone? Jesus replied, "Very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever." And Jesus here is the son of the kingdom of heaven, and every one of us who are born of Christ will be children of the kingdom of heaven. If we go on to verse 36, Jesus says, "So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Welcome, my fellow Christian brothers and sisters. Today I would like to talk to you about religious liberty in the modern world. Religious liberty in the modern world. Now, as I just read, the freedom of Christians has to do with Christ, his power, and his power over hell, Satan, death. We are free indeed by Christ. Yet, we're living in a society where we have heard frequently the statement freedom of religion or religious liberty. What is religious liberty in the modern world? And why is this important to the Christian community of faith? Religious liberty is important because the modern world has a value or belief system that somehow is irreconcilable, or a value system that is at conflict with the biblical foundation to the Christian faith. In other words, religious liberty for the Christian person in the 21st century is a crucial matter of debate. It is a crucial matter since the Christian community of faith is one that the Bible calls the holy people or the holy nation. Holiness requires separation, which is to be isolated, if you will, or independent of the mainstream culture. Holiness for the Christian community means our value system, our beliefs, our way of life should be independent of mainstream culture. Hence, religious liberty is important because it addresses the issue of the Christian's right to independently decide what they believe and how they desire to live. Globalization is the call of the day. globalization is a call of the modern society. And the global agenda has at its core multiculturalism. Multiculturalism, which is simply to reserve a place for the beliefs, the values of many people and many peoples, and the way of life, or the religious core to that group. In other words, you can believe and be who you want to be, yet how does that work when the belief systems of these religions conflict or confront, or they're irreconcilable? The Christian community of faith necessarily must have religious liberty, because religious liberty makes it possible to be holy. So we are going to discuss religious liberty in the modern world, and we are going to discuss under 5 subtopics, or 5 sequential areas. Area number 1, religious liberty in the modern world. Area number 1, holiness requires religious liberty. Area number 2, the challenge to religious liberty and holiness in the modern world. Area number 3, religious liberty and the attainment of holiness. Area number 4, religious liberty, holiness, and the gospel. Religious liberty, holiness, and the Christian gospel. And area number 5, religious liberty and the challenge of evangelism and holiness in a secular society. Now, remember, the foundation of this series of teaching is religious liberty in the modern world, in relationship with or in connection to the Christian church right to be holy, which is to be independent of mainstream culture. Religious liberty in the modern world.
Them turn us into prisoners. The world we live in it. Them turn us into prisoners. Don't want to lose